Listen closely, because this is not a greeting. This is a summoning. This is not light. This is gravity, pulling every shadow back into your chest. This is the sound of silence turning into strength. You can almost feel the air change when you decide you are done being small. You are done being understood. You are done apologizing for the weight you carry. You have arrived at that moment when the universe stops whispering and starts watching, when the echoes of what they said about you start losing meaning because your existence has become too real, too raw, too undeniable. Someone thought they could read your story, but they didn't realize your chapters were written in scars, not ink. They came close. They tried to dig into your life to pick apart your pain, to understand what broke you, but they never imagined how deep the roots went, how far the darkness stretched, how much power was buried beneath all that silence. They thought they were searching for secrets, but they uncovered storms they thought they were exploring, your weakness. But they met the reason you're still standing. They wanted to see what you hide, but they saw what you became instead, and that hit harder than they ever expected. You see, people always want to know why you are the way you are. They look at your calmness and mistake it for peace. They look at your strength and call it pride. But they don't see the nights when your heart cracked open just to let the light in. They don't see the mornings when you woke up heavy but still moved. They don't see the countless times you built yourself from pieces, smaller than dust. They think they're analyzing you, but they're just touching the surface of something ancient, something forged by every disappointment, every betrayal, every lesson that the world tried to hide from them. Because when someone digs into your life, they think they're excavating a person, but what they're really doing is uncovering a force, and that force has memory. It remembers every time you were dismissed, every time you were underestimated, every time someone walked away, like you were too much or too little. It remembers, and it transforms. It sharpens it, becomes a language only pain can teach, and only strength can speak. And when they finally reach the core of you, they realize too late that the fire they were searching for doesn't just burn it, it illuminates. You walk through life now like someone who has seen the truth behind the curtain, who understands that peace isn't soft, it's earned. It's the quiet that comes after the storm, the stillness that follows chaos, the moment when you stop needing to prove and start existing in your full gravity. They tried to dig into your life like it was something to expose, but what they exposed was their own fear, their own fragility, their own reflection in the mirror of your endurance. You are not someone to be figured out. You are someone to be respected. You are not a mystery. You are a monument. Every wound in you has a purpose. Every silence has a sound. Every loss has become a lesson carved into your soul. You are not what they assumed you are, what survived. You are what rebuilt you, are what refused to break. They never thought the truth would hit them this hard, but it did, because truth isn't polite. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't knock. It enters like thunder and leaves everything trembling. They thought they could interpret your story like a sentence, but you were a whole book written in the language of resilience. They looked at your eyes and tried to measure your pain, but they couldn't see that behind those eyes lives 1,000 versions of you. The one who cried, the one who rose, the one who fought, and the one who finally stopped fighting because they realized they had already won. You are the storm. They didn't forecast the calm. They couldn't disrupt the silence that speaks louder than their noise. You are the aftermath of your own endurance, and no one who digs into that ever comes out the same. They thought your stillness was emptiness, but it was preparation, it was patience. It was the gathering of storms in quiet places, the building of empires beneath the noise. They thought your silence was surrender, but it was strategy. They thought your distance was weakness, but it was defense. It was the space where you sharpened yourself, where you built your mind into armor and your heart into a weapon of grace. Because nothing is more frightening than a soul that has suffered and still chooses to stand tall. You became dangerous, not because you seek destruction, but because you understand it. You've lived through collapse. You've seen yourself break, and you've memorized the path back to your own strength. And that makes you untouchable. People like to dig into others, thinking they'll find faults. But when they dig into you, they find truth. And truth does not flinch. Truth does not bend. Truth burns away illusions until all that remains is what's real. And what's real is this. You have walked through places in your mind that most people run from you, have faced memories that could have broken you, but instead they built you. You have stood in front of pain and said, not today, not again, not like this. And pain listened because it recognized something greater, something that could not be controlled, something that learned to coexist with the dark instead of fighting it. When someone digs into your life, they expect to find cracks, but they find creation. They expect to find weakness, but they find will. They expect to find regrets, but they find rebirth. You turned every wound into wisdom, every betrayal into blueprint, every silence into symphony. And that terrifies people because they realize they cannot hurt you anymore. Not in the same way, not in the way that counts. You have become the calm after every disaster, the proof that endings are not final, the echo that follows every goodbye and says, I'm still here. They dig into your past and find chapters that should have ended you, but they don't understand that you write sequels. They don't understand that your story didn't stop. It evolved. They see scars, but those are not signs of damage. They are marks of divine design, evidence that even brokenness can be beautiful when worn by someone who refuses to fade. And when they start realizing that, when they start to truly see what you are, they step back because there's something sacred about someone who's been through darkness and came out, not seeking revenge, but balance, not chasing validation, but peace, not craving noise, but silence. And that silence speaks louder than thunder. You carry yourself differently now, not because you've forgotten what happened, but because you've learned it doesn't control you anymore. You've looked in the mirror and seen both your destroyer and your healer, and you've accepted that they live within the same skin. You no longer fear the parts of you that once scared others. You've befriended them. You've made them part of your power. They dug into your life, trying to understand your strength. But strength isn't something you explain. It's something you embody. They wanted to expose your pain, but your pain was never hidden. It was transformed. And when they looked close enough, they saw something they couldn't unsee. They saw themselves. They saw how small their judgments were compared to the vastness of your resilience. You didn't ask to be tested, but you were. You didn't ask to be broken, but you were. And yet here you are, still breathing, still building, still becoming. And that is what unsettles them, because they can't comprehend how someone can lose so much and still love so deeply, how someone can be hurt so often and still hope so fiercely, how someone can walk through fire and not just survive, but glow. That glow isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It's the quiet knowing that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone, because your existence already did it. You are not the same person they thought they were investigating. You've become something far beyond their understanding. You've become the proof that pain, when met with purpose, becomes power. And now every time they think of you, they remember what they found when they dug too deep. They remember the silence that stared back, the strength that didn't shout, the presence that didn't need permission. You are the lesson. They didn't mean to learn, and it changed them. There comes a point where you stop explaining yourself because explanation becomes too small for what you have lived through. You stop correcting the stories people tell because you realize truth doesn't need defending. It simply exists, untouched, unbothered, unbreakable. You begin to move with a quiet certainty that doesn't ask for understanding because you have already understood yourself completely. And that is the kind of peace that makes the world uncomfortable. They dug into your life thinking they would find a victim, but they found a visionary. They found someone who didn't just survive pain, but shaped it into purpose. They found someone who doesn't walk in fear anymore, but in focus. And that realization hit them harder than any truth they expected, because people are prepared to find sadness in others, but they are never ready to find strength, especially the kind that was built in the dark. Your strength does not scream. It hums beneath your breath. It lives in the pauses between your words. It radiates from the way you no longer chase what is not meant for you, and that confuses them. They wanted to understand your pain, but instead they discovered your peace. And peace after chaos is not gentle, it is fierce. It is the stillness of someone who has seen the worst and decided to create better. You see, pain doesn't disappear. It transforms it, becomes perspective. It becomes discipline. It becomes art. And you have mastered that art. You've learned that darkness is not the opposite of light. It is its teacher. Because you can't appreciate sunrise until you've survived the night. You can't know who you are until you've seen who you were when everything fell apart. And maybe that's what they truly felt when they dug too deep, the realization that you have walked through things that would have destroyed them, that your silence holds, stories that could shake mountains, that your calm is not a lack of chaos, but control over it. You became what they never expected, someone who found strength in the places most people avoid. Every scar on your soul is a sentence in a story that no one else could write, and every lesson you carry has a weight that others cannot lift. That's why you move differently. Now, you speak slower, you breathe deeper, you forgive faster. Not because you're weak, but because you no longer carry what doesn't belong to you. You've learned that closure doesn't come from others, it comes from within. And in that awareness, you have become unstoppable. Not loud, not reckless, but inevitable. Because nothing built on truth can be destroyed, and you are built entirely of truth. They thought digging into your life would give them control, but it only gave you clarity. They handed you a mirror, and instead of breaking it, you looked at it and found yourself whole. Your past is no longer a chain, it's a compass. It doesn't hold you back. It points you forward because you understand now that everything that happened was part of the construction of who you are now. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every silence was a tool. Carving your purpose, shaping your resolve, and preparing you for the moment you would finally stand tall and say, enough. They don't talk about it, but they feel it. That shift, that quiet dominance that comes from someone who has nothing left to prove. You walk into a room and the energy changes, not because of arrogance, but because of alignment. Your spirit is in sync with your strength, and that's rare, that's magnetic, that's something you can't fake. And that's why people are drawn to you even when they don't understand you. They dug into your life and thought they'd find fragility, but they discovered the architecture of resilience. They found the blueprint of a warrior disguised as a human being. They saw that your pain wasn't your ending, it was your evolution, And that realization frightened them because they saw how powerful transformation truly is. They saw what happens when someone decides to use every wound as wisdom. You are not the same person who was once uncertain, afraid, or seeking validation. You have walked through your own fire and found gold within yourself. And that glow is not for show. It's for survival. It's the light you created when the world gave you none. It's the beacon you built from ashes, so that others might one day find their way. And that's the irony of it all. They dug too deep, hoping to expose you. But what they exposed was a truth that forced them to look at themselves. Because when people see strength born from pain, it reminds them of their own unhealed places. It shows them the reflection they've been running, from the part of them that knows they too could rise if they stopped hiding from their own darkness. So now, they speak of you differently, some with respect, some with discomfort, some with silence, but all with awareness. Because once someone witnesses your kind of resilience, they can never unsee it. They can never forget the way you rose without noise, the way you rebuilt without recognition, the way you thrived without revenge. You have become the calm before every storm and the peace after it. You are both the question and the answer, the ending and the beginning. And no one who digs into that ever walks away the same. There is a silence that follows every storm, a silence that holds truth heavier than thunder. It is the sound of someone who has faced themselves and decided to keep going. It is the sound of power settling back into its rightful place. That is the silence you carry now, the kind that doesn't ask for attention because it already has presence, the kind that doesn't need to prove because it already is. They thought they were studying you, but what they were really doing was standing at the edge of their own limits. Because to look into your life is to look into a mirror that reflects not just survival, but transformation. And that's what unsettles them. They didn't expect your pain to turn into power. They didn't expect your weakness to grow wings. They didn't expect you to rise without bitterness, without noise, without needing to be seen. And yet here you are, undeniable, unstoppable, quietly infinite. You walk differently now because you are no longer carrying the need to be understood. You've learned that understanding is too small a word for what you've become. You've outgrown the language of pain and stepped into the vocabulary of purpose. You've stopped waiting for people to see your worth because you've already built a world that reflects it. Every action, every breath, every step you take is a declaration that says, I have been broken, but I have not been beaten. And when people dig into that truth, when they realize how far you've come, it shakes them, not because they envy your strength, but because they recognize what's possible for them too. You are a reminder that no one is defined by the weight they carry, but by the way they choose to rise beneath it. You are the evidence that pain is not permanent, that even darkness bows before determination. The truth is, you were never meant to stay hidden. You were meant to grow through every attempt to bury you. You were meant to rise from every misunderstanding, every judgment, every moment when the world tried to tell you that you were too much or not enough. They tried to dig you into the ground, but they didn't realize you were a seed, not a secret. And seeds don't stay buried, they bloom. And when you bloom, you do it without apology. Your petals carry stories. Your roots carry storms. Your fragrance carries forgiveness. And your presence carries power. That is the kind of beauty that frightens those who only see with their eyes. Because yours is the kind of beauty that can only be felt in the soul. So now when people try to dig into your life, they find a wisdom instead of weakness. They find faith instead of fear. They find peace instead of pain. And that realization hits harder than any truth they could have imagined, because they see that you have mastered the art of turning every wound into a window and every scar into a story that guides others toward their own light. You are no longer fighting the darkness, you are guiding it. You are teaching it to coexist with your light. You are showing the world that strength doesn't have to shout, it can. Whisper, it can breathe. It can simply exist and still move mountains. Because true strength doesn't need an audience, it just needs purpose. They dug into your life and expected to find chaos. But what they found was creation. They found someone who took the broken pieces and built something beautiful. Someone who turned pain into poetry and loss into legacy. Someone who carries both shadow and sunlight in perfect balance. You became something rare. Someone who can be soft without being weak and strong without being cruel. You became human in the truest sense. Raw, real, relentless. And maybe that's why they'll never forget you. Because when someone meets a soul that has walked through its own fire and still offers warmth, it leaves a mark. It changes the way they see endurance. It redefines the meaning of survival. You have become a symbol, not of what happened to you, but of what you decided to become because of it. And that's the final truth. They discovered too late. They thought they were uncovering your story, but they were actually writing their own lesson in your shadow. They thought they were revealing your flaws, but they were witnessing your evolution. They thought they were exploring your depths, but they were drowning in their own reflections. So let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them dig. Because every time they do, they only go deeper into their own awakening, while you keep rising without effort, without explanation. Because that's what power does. It doesn't shout. It simply stands, and everything around it adjusts. You have become the calm. They can't disturb the mystery. They can't solve the strength. They can't shake, and the truth. They can't unlearn. You are not their discovery. You are their mirror. You are not their curiosity. You are their consequence. Because when they dug into your life, they unearthed something greater than they could handle. They unearthed the reminder that the human spirit, when pushed beyond breaking, doesn't collapse, it expands. So let the world dig, let it question, let it doubt, because every time it does, it only proves what you already know, that you are made of something deeper, something older, something unshakable. You are not the storm, you are the entire sky. And no one who has seen that ever forgets it. And when the dust settles and the noise fades, when the ones who doubted finally grow silent, there you will stand, not bitter, not broken, but whole, watching the world finally realize what you have known all along, that when someone digs into your life, they might find pain, but if they dig deep enough, they will find power, and that power hits harder than they will ever be ready for. So, if they ever try to dig again, let them search, let them wander through the fragments of your past, because every piece they uncover will only reveal another layer of strength, another proof of evolution. They will keep looking for weakness and keep finding wisdom. They will keep expecting ruin and keep finding rebirth. Because what they don't understand is that your story doesn't live in the pain that happened to you. It lives in the power you built after it. And no matter how deep they go, they will never reach the bottom of your resilience because it has no end. And when it's all done, when the last word is spoken and the last doubt fades away, you will still be there, calm, unshaken, unbothered, the same soul they tried to define. Now, standing beyond definition, they dug into your life and thought they were exposing you, but what they did was reveal the truth. Ah, my delightful denizens of chaos, the restless wanderers of a world gone mad. Welcome today. I ask you a single question. How does one smile while the world burns? How does one smile while chaos surrounds them? How does one continue to laugh when the very air they breathe feels thick with despair? How does one maintain composure when every corner they turn reveals nothing but betrayal and scorn? You see, the answer is simple and terrifying. At the same time, it is because we have learned to find joy in the face of suffering. We have found the strength to smile because we understand something that those who have never endured will never grasp. It is in the darkest of moments, when the weight of the world presses down on our shoulders and the very ground beneath our feet threatens to crumble, that we find out what we are really made of. When everyone else is falling apart, when the forces of nature and society conspire to break us, we hold our ground and we keep smiling because we know the truth, that they are the ones who are freaking out, not us. You know exactly who I'm talking about, don't you? The ones who see you standing tall and think that you must be blind or naive. They look at you like you are a fool to keep moving forward while everything around you is collapsing. But they are the fools, aren't they? Because they do not see what you have seen, what you have become, what you have learned through your suffering and your sacrifice. They have never been tested by the fires that forged you. They have never known the depths of darkness that you have stared into and come back from. They are scared of the unknown, terrified of the possibility that life will not always be fair or kind. They panic when things go wrong and crumble when things get hard. But you have discovered the most precious secret of all. You know that there is power in pain and strength in suffering. You know that the harder they try to break you, the harder they try to tear you down. The more you rise, the more you ascend. From the depths of despair you rise, and you do so with a smile on your face. They can throw everything they have at you. They can say all the cruel words they want. They can create lies and spread them like wildfire. But it doesn't matter, because their attacks are nothing but a reflection of their own fear, their own insecurity, their own desperation to bring you down, to make you feel like them, lost and broken. But here you are, smiling in the face of their hatred, smiling in the face of their ignorance, smiling in the face of their fear, because you understand something they will never understand. You understand that the darkness does not last forever, and that no matter how many times they knock you down, you will always rise again. They want to see you defeated. They want to see you suffer. They want to see you crumble beneath the weight of their judgments and insults. But you will not give them that satisfaction. You will not give them the power to control your fate. They want to break you. They want to make you question your worth, your value, your purpose. But what they don't realize is that every time they try to break you, they only make you stronger. What they fail to understand is that you are not just some fragile being waiting to be crushed under the weight of their cruelty. You are something much more dangerous than they could ever comprehend. You are someone who has walked through hell and come back with a fire in their heart that will never be extinguished. You are someone who has learned to smile through the pain, because you know that the pain is not the end, it is only the beginning. You are someone who has learned to laugh in the face of adversity, because you know that every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to become something greater than you were before. And so, while they freak out, while they scramble to find something to hold on to, you stand tall, you keep smiling, you keep moving forward, because you understand the game they are playing, and you know that you are the one who holds the power, not them. And let me tell you something, those who are freaking out right now, those who are losing their minds in the face of adversity, they are not the ones who will prevail. They are not the ones who will succeed. It is you, the one who stands firm in the face of the storm. It is you who will rise to the top. It is you who will continue to smile when everything else falls apart. Why? Because you are unbreakable, because you have faced the darkness and emerged from it stronger, wiser, more determined than ever before. They think they can break you. They think they can defeat you. They think that by throwing everything they have at you, they can make you bow down to them. But they are wrong. They have no idea what you are truly capable of. You have been through too much. You have fought too hard. You have sacrificed too much to let their petty games drag you down. You have learned to smile through the pain because you know that nothing lasts forever and that every storm will eventually pass. The difference between you and them is that while they are freaking out, while they are losing their minds over every setback, you are moving forward. You are adapting. You are learning from every challenge you face and growing stronger with every step. And that is why you will succeed. And they will not. They cannot handle the pressure. They cannot handle the weight of the world on their shoulders. They crumble at the first sign of difficulty. But you thrive under pressure. You rise when others fall. You shine when others dim. And you do so with a smile on your face, because you know that there is nothing in this world that can defeat you. So go ahead. Let them freak out. Let them panic. Let them throw everything they have at you, because it will not matter in the end. You will still be standing. You will still be smiling. You will still be moving forward, while they are left behind wallowing in their own self-doubt. Keep moving. Keep smiling. Keep pushing forward, because you know the truth. You know that the storm may rage around you, but you are the calm at the center of it all. You are the one who is unshaken, unbroken, unfazed by the chaos, because you have learned to find peace in the midst of the storm. And that peace is what will carry you through to the end. Keep smiling, because you know that every obstacle you face only brings you closer to your true power. Every challenge you encounter only makes you stronger, and every setback you experience only serves to prepare you for the victory that is waiting for you on the other side. So let them freak out. Let them lose their minds while you keep your composure, while you keep your focus, while you keep your smile, because you are the one who will emerge victorious. You are the one who will rise above it all. You are the one who will not be defeated. Smile, because you know that you are in control. You know that you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Keep smiling, because you are the one who will win this war. And everyone who doubted you will be left standing in your wake, wondering how you did it, how you managed to smile through it all while they were losing their minds. Keep smiling, because you are the storm that will never be broken, and they are the ones who will be swept away. They are the ones who are trembling under the weight of their own fear. Fear of what they don't know, fear of what they can't control, fear of the unknown. It consumes them, breaks them down into tiny fragments of self-doubt and desperation. But you are not like them. You are not a slave to fear, not a victim of circumstance. No, you are a conqueror, a survivor, a warrior in a world that thrives on chaos. You have learned how to navigate this madness, how to embrace it, how to use it as fuel for your growth. While they crumble under the pressure, you stand tall and firm, smiling because you understand one simple truth. They are not built for this. You have seen the depths of darkness, the pit that seems to swallow everything whole, and yet you didn't let it take you down. You didn't let it break you. You didn't let it define you. Instead, you grew stronger. You found power in your struggle, strength in your scars. You learned that every bruise, every cut, every fall is just a part of the process of becoming something greater, something more. They don't see this. They don't understand this. But you do. You know that in the face of adversity, you have two choices. You can fall apart, or you can rise. And you, my friend, have chosen to rise, chosen to stand tall in the face of everything life throws at you. So, as they shake in their boots, as they panic over things beyond their control, you take another step forward. You keep moving. You keep smiling. And that smile, that quiet confidence, it irritates them, doesn't it? It enrages them, because they can't understand how you do it, how you keep going when the world is telling you to stop, how you keep fighting when everyone else has given up. They are frustrated by your resilience, angry at your refusal to break. They want to see you defeated. They want to see you fall, because your very existence challenges their fragile understanding of the world. They want to believe that if they throw enough negativity your way, enough doubt and hate and fear, you will break, just like they did. But you won't, because you are not like them. You have learned something they never will. You have learned that pain is not the end. It is the beginning of something beautiful, something powerful. Pain is what carves the path to greatness. It is what forces you to grow, to evolve, to become something unbreakable. When you go through hell, when you walk through the fire and emerge from the ashes, you are no longer the same person you were. You are forged in a crucible of strength and determination. And nothing, not their words, not their actions, not their hatred, will ever be enough to extinguish the fire within you. They thought they could break you. They thought that by tearing you down, by attacking your character, by throwing every insult and accusation in your face, they would succeed. But what they failed to realize is that you are built differently. You are the storm that cannot be silenced, the fire that cannot be extinguished. They are the ones who will be swept away by the tides of their own weakness, their own fear. They are the ones who will crumble under the pressure of their own insecurities. They are the ones who will be left behind, watching as you continue to rise, as you continue to climb higher, as you continue to smile. And every time they see you rise, every time they see you keep going when they thought you'd stop, it eats away at them. It makes them question everything they thought they knew. It reminds them of their own inadequacies, their own failures. You see, they are not scared of you. They are scared of what you represent. You represent everything they are not. You represent strength, resilience, and the courage to keep going when the world tells you to quit. And they can't stand it. They can't stand seeing you rise when they are stuck in their own misery. So, they lash out. They attack. They throw more dirt in your face, hoping that something will stick, hoping that they can destroy you. But nothing works because you are untouchable. In fact, the more they attack you, the stronger you become. Every insult, every criticism, every lie they spread about you, it all only serves to make you more determined to keep going. It fuels your fire, feeds your drive, pushes you further toward your goal. They don't realize it, but every effort to tear you down is actually an investment in your success, because you are unstoppable. You are the force of nature that will not be controlled, the warrior that will not be silenced. They will be swept away, lost in the wake of your ascent, as you continue to march forward with unwavering resolve. But here's the thing, while they waste their time trying to destroy you, you are too busy creating your future. You are too busy working, growing, evolving, becoming the best version of yourself. They don't have the focus or the discipline to rise above their own emotions, their own insecurities. They are too caught up in the drama, the chaos, the noise. But you are above it all. You understand that real power is in the work, in the progress, in the constant forward motion. You understand that while they waste their time panicking, you are quietly, steadily, and relentlessly moving toward your goals, toward your success. You smile because you know that they can't touch you. You smile because you know that you are the master of your fate. They want to see you break, but they don't realize that they are only breaking themselves in the process. They are the ones who are afraid. They are the ones who are uncertain. They are the ones who don't know what to do when the storm hits. But you know exactly what to do. You've been through worse. You've faced storms before, and each time you've come out stronger. You've learned to embrace the chaos, to use it to your advantage. You are no longer afraid of the storm because you know that within it lies your power. You know that within the chaos lies the opportunity for growth. And here's the cold, hard truth. They will never understand this. They will never understand why you smile while they lose their minds. They will never understand why you keep going while they crumble. They will never understand the strength it takes to keep moving forward when everything seems to be falling apart. And they will never understand why, despite everything they throw at you, you still come out on top. They will never get it. And that's exactly why they will be swept away while you stand tall, unshaken, and unfazed. Because in the end, it's not about what they do to you. It's about what you do to yourself. It's about your ability to rise above, to see beyond the noise, to maintain your focus on your goals, and to keep moving forward no matter how hard they try to drag you down. They can freak out all they want. They can throw everything they have at you. But you know the secret. They are only wasting their time. They are only wasting their energy. And when the dust settles, you will still be standing. You will still be smiling. You will still be winning. So, keep going. Keep smiling. Keep moving forward. Because the world is yours for the taking. And while they are lost in their own panic, you will continue to rise, continue to shine, continue to conquer. Because you are the storm that will not be broken, the fire that will not be extinguished. And no matter how much they try, they will never, ever take that from you. Keep smiling because you are unstoppable. And they will be swept away. All of them. Every single one who doubted you. Everyone who tried to bring you down. Everyone who scoffed and said that you wouldn't make it. All of them will be swept away, washed out by the tide of their own fear, ignorance, and lack of resilience. The world will continue to spin. The storms will come and go. And in the end, you will remain standing, stronger than ever, smiling as you look back at the ruins they left behind. They thought they could break you, thought they could bury you under their negativity and hate. But in the end, they are the ones who will be buried by their own inability to cope with the reality of this world. Their time will come, and when it does, they will wonder how you managed to not just survive, but thrive while they were lost in their own self-destructive patterns. But let's not make any mistake about it. The path you are walking is not easy. It is never easy. The road to greatness, the road to success, the road to becoming unbreakable is paved with obstacles, pain, and hardship. It is a path that demands everything from you: your strength, your courage, your endurance, and your willpower. It is a path where every step you take is met with resistance, where every ounce of progress you make is met with a challenge. It is a road filled with enemies, both external and internal, constantly trying to drag you back to where you once were, where you thought you could not go any further. But you don't stop. You don't give in, because you know that the only way to reach the highest peaks is to keep climbing, even when it feels like the mountain is too steep, even when it feels like you are running out of breath. You keep going, because you know that the moment you stop is the moment you let them win. They want to see you falter. They want to see you stumble. They want to see you cry, to see you break. It's not about you, really. It's about their own fear. They are so consumed by the darkness within themselves that they want to drag everyone else down into it. They cannot stand the light you radiate, the strength you show, the smile that refuses to fade. It unsettles them. It reminds them of their own fragility. But that's the thing they don't realize. Your strength is not a threat to you. It's a threat to them. They are afraid because they know deep down that they could never walk the path you are walking, that they could never endure the battles you've faced, the sacrifices you've made, the choices you've had to live with. They are not built like you. They are not forged by the fire like you have been. They are too weak to even comprehend what it takes to survive the storms you've weathered. That's why they are the ones who will be swept away. Because when the storm of life hits, when the pressures of the world bear down on them, they will crack, they will fold, they will cave in, they will crumble. They will not survive the intensity of what you have already faced. You've seen the worst. You've walked through hell, and you didn't just survive, you thrived. You learned to walk through the flames without getting burned. You learned to smile in the face of chaos. You learned that adversity doesn't destroy you, it builds you. It makes you harder, stronger, more resilient. It forges you into someone who is capable of handling whatever this world throws at you. They thought they could break you with their lies, their jealousy, their hate, their ridicule. They thought that by turning the world against you, they would make you feel small, insignificant, powerless. But they don't realize that every attack only makes you stronger. Every insult only fuels your fire. Every betrayal only sharpens your resolve. You have become a force that cannot be stopped. And no matter how much they scream, how much they shout, how much they try to tear you down, it will not work. They will be swept away by their own inability to cope with the chaos they created. They will be consumed by the very storms they tried to send your way. And while they drown in the flood of their own making, you will continue to rise above it all. But let's talk about why it's so important for you to keep going. Why it's so important for you to not let them see you fall, to not let them see you give up. Because it's not just about them, it's about you. It's about your growth. It's about your journey. You see, they want to see you fail because they cannot bear to see you succeed. But that's because they don't understand the cost of success. They don't understand the discipline, the sacrifices, the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to make it to the top. They see your smile, your confidence, your unwavering will, and they think it comes easy. They think you just happened to get lucky. They think it was just handed to you. But you know better. You know that nothing worth having ever comes easy. You know that you had to fight for every inch of ground you gained, for every step you took toward your dreams. Every single one of your successes is a result of the battles you fought. Every smile you wear is a testament to your resilience. Every moment of triumph is earned through relentless effort, through the determination to never give up, through the will to stand tall no matter how hard life pushes you down. They see your smile and they want to take it from you. They want to strip it away because it's the one thing they can't take from you. Your happiness, your strength, your power, that is yours. No matter how much they try to tear you down, they can't steal that from you because you have earned it. And the more they try to take it, the stronger it becomes. They cannot break what they didn't create. They cannot destroy what has been built through fire, through pain, through sacrifice. So, what do? You keep going. You keep smiling. You keep rising. Because every step you take forward is a step further away from them. Every inch you gain is one less inch they have to hold on to their delusion that they can defeat you. They will never understand the power that resides within you. They will never understand why you continue to smile, why you continue to move forward with such confidence, why you continue to show up no matter how hard it gets. They will never understand that you are unbreakable, that you are unstoppable, that no matter how many times they try to break you down, you will always rise again. And when they see you rising, when they see you standing tall in the face of everything they've thrown at you, they will realize the truth. They were never the threat to you. They were never the enemy. The real enemy was the doubt, the fear, the darkness within you that you overcame. You see, you were never fighting them. You were fighting your own limitations, your own fears, your own doubts. You were fighting the part of you that wanted to give up, the part that wanted to succumb to the pressures of life, the part that didn't believe in your ability to succeed. You fought that part of yourself and you won, and that's why they will be swept away. Because in the end, they could never fight that fight. They could never rise above their own fears. They were too busy trying to pull you down to realize that they were sinking themselves. So, let them freak out. Let them scream and shout and try to drag you back into the muck they live in. You're not going back. You're not going to let them win. You will keep moving forward. You will keep climbing. You will keep smiling. Because the only thing that's inevitable in this world is change. And you are the one who is changing. You are the one who is growing. You are the one who is evolving. And when the dust settles, when the chaos finally dies down, you will be the one who remains standing. You will be the one who has the last laugh, because you knew all along that the storms would come, that the challenges would rise. But you also knew that no matter what, you would keep smiling through it all. And they will be swept away. In the end, while they are consumed by their fear, doubt, and insecurities, you will continue to rise. You will stand tall, unshaken by the storms they try to throw your way. Your strength, resilience, and unbreakable spirit will be your shield, and your smile will be your weapon. They will be swept away by their own weakness, while you remain standing, victorious. Keep moving forward, keep smiling, and remember, you are unstoppable. Welcome to the silence before the storm, the kind of silence that isn't peace but power, waiting to unfold, the kind that hums in the air right before the world realizes what it's dealing with. You've walked through too much to still question your place in the game. You've trained when no one was watching. You've carried the weight that would have crushed others. You've endured doubt and whispers and smirks. You've heard the laughter of those who thought you were finished, and you said nothing. You stayed quiet, not because you were weak, but because you knew your time would speak louder than your words. The game was yours before it began, and you knew it. You just had to let them believe. They had a chance. You watched them talk about you. You watched them measure you by their own limits, not realizing your depth was something they could never swim in. They played small games while you were mastering an empire. They were busy comparing steps while you were creating a path that no one else could follow. They didn't know that while they were sleeping, you were sharpening every part of your being until even your silence had power. Even your stillness had purpose. Now, they are embarrassed because they realized too late that you were not competing with them. You were building something they could never understand. They thought it was about winning a moment, but you were shaping a legacy. They thought it was about attention, but you were growing in the dark, where no spotlight reaches. They thought your patience was hesitation, but it was precision. You didn't rush because you knew time was your ally. You didn't shout because you knew results would roar louder than any voice could ever manage. Every doubt they spoke over you became a stone in your foundation. Every rejection became another lesson. Every loss, another layer of strength. They tried to block your path, but they didn't know you were building wings. They tried to close doors, but they didn't know you carried keys. You've turned every disappointment into design, every setback into strategy. You didn't fight to be seen. You fought to become undeniable. And now here you are, the storm. They never prepared for the proof that quiet power is the most dangerous kind. They're embarrassed because they realize their laughter built your focus. They're embarrassed because they spent so much energy underestimating you. They didn't realize you were learning every move, every mistake, every hidden weakness. You studied the field until you knew every inch of it. You prepared for war while they were playing games. You learned patience in pain, discipline in silence, and faith in the unseen. You didn't ask for permission to rise, you decided to. You didn't need validation because you already had vision. The game was yours before it began, because it was never just about skill. It was about endurance. It was about the strength to keep moving when every voice around you said, stop. It was about the will to rebuild from nothing, with no applause and no guarantee. It was about choosing growth over comfort, purpose over popularity, work over words. You understood something they never will, that greatness is not built in front of crowds. It's built in the shadows. You made peace with loneliness because you knew isolation was preparation. And now they stand there stunned because the same silence they mocked became the echo of their regret. They look around for excuses, but there are none. They see what you've become and they realize they could have done it too if they had the heart, if they had the patience, if they had the discipline. But they didn't, and you did. That's what separates the few from the many. That's what makes legends out of the forgotten. You didn't just win, you outlasted. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You turned pain into purpose and failure into fire. You learned how to rise without applause, how to trust the process when it felt like betrayal, how to stay calm while the world tried to shake you. They didn't understand that while they were celebrating small victories, you were preparing for eternity. You didn't want a moment, you wanted mastery, and that's exactly what you created. Now, when they see you, they can't speak the words, get caught in their throat, because deep down they know. They underestimated something they should have feared. They know they doubted someone who doesn't quit. They know that every time they said, you couldn't, you were building the proof that you could. They can't even be angry because your success is a mirror, showing them their own weakness, and nothing is more painful than that reflection. You walk differently now, not with arrogance, but with assurance. You don't chase approval because you've already earned self-respect. You don't explain yourself because results need no introduction. You move like someone who knows the game was over before it began, because destiny had already made the call, long before they questioned you, long before they mocked you, long before you had anything to show something inside you already. Knew or loved how the story would end, and that's what they never understood. You were not trying to prove them wrong. You were trying to prove yourself right. You were not in their race. You were in your own evolution. You were never chasing them. You were chasing the version of you that existed just out of reach, and you caught it. That's why it feels different. That's why it looks effortless, because it's no longer about impressing anyone. It's about fulfilling the promise you made to yourself in the dark. They are embarrassed because they realize you never needed them. You never needed their approval, their help, their praise. They were waiting for you to fall while you were waiting for your moment to rise. And when that moment came, you didn't need to announce it. You just showed up with evidence. You showed up with results. You showed up with unshakable confidence that only comes from walking through fire and surviving. The game was yours before it began, because you built yourself differently. You were forged, not formed. You were refined, not rushed. You learned how to bend without breaking, how to fail without folding, how to move forward, even when the path disappeared beneath your feet. You were sculpted by struggle. You were strengthened by storms. You became the kind of person who doesn't need to be told. They're great because greatness became your nature. They're left looking stupid because they laughed too soon. They celebrated too early. They mistook silence for surrender and calmness for weakness. They forgot that the most dangerous player in the game is the one who studies quietly, waits patiently, and strikes precisely. You never needed to prove you belonged because you were born for this. You never needed to beg for respect because your consistency demanded it. You never needed to shout because your work screamed louder than any words ever could. Every scar you carry tells a story they will never understand. Every tear you shed became fuel for the fire they thought would burn out. Every failure was a seed that grew in soil they were too afraid to touch. You learned how to grow in darkness, how to thrive without validation, how to find peace even in chaos. They'll never understand how someone who lost so much could still rise higher than everyone who had everything. That's because they don't know what it means to be unbreakable. You don't need revenge because results already did the talking. You don't need to argue because the truth is visible. You don't need to explain because history will. Your name will echo in places they will never reach because you didn't just win, you evolved. You didn't just play the game, you changed it. And the moment they realize that the embarrassment turns into silence because deep down they know they witnessed something they cannot duplicate. The game was yours before it began because destiny recognized your name long before they did. The universe already decided the outcome before the first move was made. You were built to rise when others fall, to endure when others quit, to keep believing when everything around you said stop. You were built to hold power with humility and carry pain with purpose. So now, let them whisper, let them stare, let them wonder how you did it. You don't owe them the truth because they wouldn't understand it. The truth is simple. You earned it. You fought for it, you bled for it, you sacrificed for it, and now you own it. They had the comfort, you had the hunger, they had the applause, you had the discipline, they had the spotlight, you had the fire. The game was yours before it began. And now, all that's left is silence. Their silence, your triumph, and the sound of destiny unfolding, exactly as it was always meant to. Because you are not here by accident. You are the storm that was promised, the proof that patience wins, the symbol of what happens when faith meets relentless action. You didn't just play the game, you became the game. You didn't just chase victory, you became the definition of it. And now they're left looking stupid. Not because you humiliated them, but because you reminded them of what they could have been if they had your heart, your focus, your will. So stand tall and remember this truth. You never needed to become anything because it was already written. You just had to become aware of who you were. The world is finally catching up to what destiny already knew. The game was yours before it began, and now they're just embarrassed. They watch you now with eyes wide open, but hearts heavy with realization. They can't look away because deep down, they know they witnessed something rare, something they'll talk about for years, trying to explain it, trying to understand it, but they never will, because they weren't there in the hours that shaped you. They weren't there in the nights when you questioned everything but still kept going. They weren't there when the weight of failure sat on your shoulders and you decided to carry it anyway. They weren't there when you kept walking through storms that should have broken you and still found a way to smile through the pain. You earned this moment, not with luck, but with scars. Every victory was paid for in silence. Every success carved from struggle. Every ounce of strength born from sleepless nights. An unseen effort. They thought the game was about skill, but you knew it was about endurance, because talent fades when pain arrives, but discipline survives. You never asked for an easier road. You asked for stronger legs. You never prayed for lighter burdens. You built a stronger back. Now they understand too late that you were never ordinary. You were never meant to fit their expectations. You were never supposed to blend in. You were designed to stand out, but not by noise, by consistency. You became the kind of person who doesn't talk about doing the work, because doing the work became who you are. You didn't chase the spotlight, because your light comes from within. It's the glow of perseverance, the fire of purpose, the reflection of someone who refused to quit. They laughed when you fell, because they thought falling meant failure, but you knew falling meant learning. You knew every drop was data, every pain was progress, every wound was wisdom. You never feared failure because you saw it for what it truly was, a disguised opportunity. Every time they called you foolish for believing, you smiled, because you knew faith doesn't need proof to act. Faith only needs direction, and you had both. And now those same people look at you and don't recognize who you've become, because growth changes your face, but transformation changes your presence. You carry a different kind of calm now, a calm that comes from knowing you've survived too much to ever be shaken again. You walk differently, because you no longer walk to prove anything. You walk to live in alignment with who you've become. They're embarrassed, not because you made them feel small, but because you forced them to face their own comfort. You reminded them what real hunger looks like. You showed them what it means to stay consistent when motivation is gone. You revealed the truth that success is not found in talent, but in tenacity. You proved that no obstacle can defeat someone who refuses to give up. The game was yours before it began, because deep down, you were never playing against people. You were playing against limits. You were fighting against the version of yourself that wanted to give up. And every day, you won that fight again and again. You fought against fear, doubt, laziness, pain, and you conquered them all. You turned every weakness into a weapon, every flaw into a form of power. And now when you speak, you don't need to raise your voice, because the world listens differently when results do the talking. You don't argue with doubters because you've learned that silence is the sharpest reply. You don't explain your process because those who understand discipline already know, and those who don't will never get it. You've stepped beyond the need for validation because you've already validated yourself through action. Every morning you wake up, you carry the weight of everything you've overcome. But now it feels lighter, not because it's gone, but because you've grown stronger. You don't fear the storms anymore, because you've realized you are the storm. You don't fear losing anymore, because you've realized every loss taught you how to win. You don't fear being alone, because solitude has become your sanctuary, the place where you sharpen your soul while the world sleeps. They don't see the hours you spent building your mindset. They don't see the days when nothing worked, but you kept showing up. They don't see the battles you fought in silence, the tears that fell behind the confidence, the sacrifices made when no one was watching. They only see the result, the shine, the victory, the calm. They see the destination, but not the climb. And that's why they're embarrassed, because they finally realize what it takes, and they know they didn't give it. You've become a living reminder that patience is power, that endurance is elegance, that silence can scream louder than noise. You've become the blueprint for what it means to believe before the world believes. You've proven that real power doesn't need to be seen to exist. It needs only to be felt. The game was yours before it began because destiny saw your work long before anyone else did. Destiny saw you fall and rise again. Destiny saw you fail and still show up. Destiny saw you suffer, but never surrender. You were chosen not because it was easy, but because you were built for the hard, because the difficult is where you thrive, because the challenge is where you grow, because pressure is where diamonds are born. And that's what you are now, a diamond cut by time, carved by resistance, shaped by struggle, polished by pain. You shine not because you were given light, but because you learned how to create it out of darkness. You don't need anyone to believe in you anymore, because belief has become your identity. You no longer hope for strength because strength is now your language. Every word you speak, every step you take carries the weight of everything you've endured. When you look in the mirror, now, you don't see the same person who started this journey. You see the evolution, the transformation, the proof that persistence changes everything. You see the reflection of someone who didn't quit, even when quitting was the easiest option. You see someone who learned how to suffer beautifully, who learned how to keep faith when faith made no sense. You see the kind of person who became unstoppable, not because life was kind, but because you were unbreakable. They're left looking stupid, not because you beat them, but because they realized they were never even in the same race. You weren't chasing trophies or applause. You were chasing destiny. You weren't trying to be better than anyone. You were trying to be greater than your excuses. And you did it quietly, with no need for credit, no need for praise. You did it because something inside you refused to let your story end in mediocrity. Now, when they speak your name, it carries a different tone. It's no longer mockery, it's respect, disguised as curiosity. It's admiration, wrapped in confusion. They'll say, they always knew, but you'll know the truth. You'll remember who was silent when you struggled, and who laughed when you stumbled. You'll remember how many times you had to remind yourself that purpose is not about applause, but about persistence. The game was yours before it began because greatness was already in your DNA. It was written in every choice you made, every risk you took, every night. You refused to quit. You didn't need to be told you were capable. You showed it. You didn't need to ask for a chance. You created one. You didn't need to be invited to the table. You built your own, and now they're the ones asking for a seat. You've reached the place where noise doesn't touch you anymore, where negativity fades before it reaches your spirit, where doubt bounces off the armor. You forged through pain. You've become too focused to be distracted, too steady to be shaken, too determined to be denied. The world sees your light now, but you remember the darkness that built it. And as you stand here victorious, you understand something profound. Winning was never the goal. Growth was. The game was never about others. It was always about becoming the version of yourself you were meant to be. The real victory was mastering your mind, controlling your emotions, sharpening your will. The real game was internal, and you conquered it. That's why it looks easy now, because you fought the hardest battles when no one could see. They can't understand how someone can rise from nothing, because they've never had to build from ashes. But you did. You took pain and turned it into purpose. You took rejection and turned it into redirection. You took doubt and turned it into drive. You became everything they said. You couldn't because you refused to stop until you did. And now, the silence around you isn't loneliness anymore. It's legacy. It's peace. It's the sound of a soul that has done its work. The world will continue to talk, but you'll continue to move with quiet precision, because power doesn't need to announce itself. It just needs to exist. You've reached that level. You've become that presence. The game was yours before it began, and now it's written in history, not in ink, but in effort, not in fame, but in faith, not in noise, but in nerve. And every person who ever doubted you now carries the quiet weight of their own hesitation, because while they waited for the perfect time, you created it. While they hoped for the right moment, you built it. While they feared failure, you faced it. While they dreamed of winning, you became the definition of it. You were the game. You were the storm. You were the answer. You always were. And now, they're just embarrassed. They still don't understand that some people are simply written differently. Some people are designed not to crumble when life gets heavy, but to harden under pressure. Some people don't wait for opportunity. They create it. Some people don't need to be seen to know their worth. And you are one of them. You are not here because of luck. You are here because you refuse to disappear. There were nights when even your reflection didn't believe in you, when your own mind tried to convince you that you were wasting your time. But you stayed. You fought through the noise. You built discipline out of doubt. You turned fear into focus. You learned that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to move anyway. You learned that consistency beats talent when talent refuses to be consistent. You learn that effort every single day, no matter how small, creates a power that no one can take away. Now when people say, you changed, they're right. You did change. You became serious about your purpose. You became protective of your peace. You became relentless about your goals. You learned that not everyone deserves access to your energy, because your energy is sacred. You stopped explaining yourself, because your results are explanation enough. You stopped chasing validation because you realized validation is just a reflection of insecurity, disguised as attention. They're embarrassed because they remember the things they said when you were struggling. They remember the jokes, the whispers, the looks. And now they see you walking with confidence, built from chaos and grace, born from grit. and they can't understand how you're still standing stronger than ever. They thought they buried you, but they only planted you and you grew into something their words could never touch. The game was yours before it began, because destiny doesn't play dice. Destiny designs with precision. Destiny waits for the right moment to reveal what's been hidden in plain sight, and when that moment comes, nothing can stop it. Not doubt, not delay, not disbelief, because what's meant for you doesn't need to be forced. It only needs to be fulfilled. You are fulfillment in motion, proof that patience pays, proof that persistence breaks every wall. You are the quiet revolution that happens when a human being refuses to give up. You are the result of every sleepless night, every invisible effort, every unseen battle. The world is just catching up to what your soul already knew. You were built for this, and now, look at them. Their voices have gone silent. Their laughter turned into admiration, their doubt turned into curiosity. They can't even hate properly because respect keeps getting in the way. They try to find flaws, but all they see is focus. They try to find excuses, but all they see is evidence. They try to rewrite the story. But history doesn't lie. You stand in front of them, not as a winner, but as a lesson, a reminder that nothing can stop a person who decides to keep going. A symbol of what happens when purpose meets endurance. You are not here to celebrate victory. You are here to demonstrate possibility, because the world needs proof that the impossible can be done, and you've become that proof. They are embarrassed because your existence is evidence that they gave up too soon. They are embarrassed because your rise exposes their hesitation. They are embarrassed because every excuse they made, you turned into a reason. They are embarrassed because while they were talking about what they were going to do, you were busy doing it. The game was yours before it began, because you were never chasing success. You were chasing self-mastery. You were chasing peace, not applause. You were chasing the kind of greatness that can't be measured in numbers or fame, the kind that can only be felt when you look in the mirror and know you didn't quit, the kind that lasts long after the spotlight fades. And that's what true power looks like. It's not loud, it's not boastful, it's not desperate. It's quiet, focused, relentless. It's the power of someone who has learned how to build when no one is watching, how to heal without validation, how to win without needing to destroy others. That's the kind of power you carry now. You've become the living embodiment of discipline and faith, of resilience and grace. You've learned that the people who doubted you were part of the process because they gave you fuel, because they gave you focus, because they unknowingly trained you to fight in silence. And now that silence has become your signature. They used to ask you what keeps you going. Now they ask how you did it. But the truth is, there's no secret. There's only work. There's only persistence. There's only belief when no one else believes. There's only the promise you made to yourself that you refused to break. The game was yours before it began, because it was written not in their opinions, but in your persistence. It was designed not by chance, but by your choices. Every time you fell and got back up, every time you failed and learned, every time you felt like quitting, but didn't, that's when you won. That's when destiny decided that this story belonged to you. They're left looking at you now, trying to make sense of it. But there's nothing to explain, because this was never about them. It was about you. It was about redemption. It was about self-respect. It was about showing the world and yourself that pain can polish purpose, that struggle can sculpt strength, that faith can rewrite any fate. They can't copy you because they didn't live your struggle. They can't replicate your steps because they didn't walk through your fire. They can't understand your calm because they never faced your chaos. They can't imitate your confidence because they never carried your pain. That's why you are who you are. That's why the game was yours before it even began. Now, when you stand in silence, it's not emptiness, it's power. When you look at the world, it's not with anger, but with understanding, because you know Now that everyone gets their chance and you took yours, you know that what separates the few from the many is not opportunity, but obedience to the grind. So here we are again, the aftermath. The ruins of a battleground where no swords clashed, no shields were raised, and yet somehow you walked away unscathed, or did you? Is there blood on your hands, stains on your soul, or was it your own cowardice that left you untouched, unscarred? This isn't a story of war, not in the traditional sense. This is the battlefield of life, where we fight not with our fists, but with our convictions, our will, and our choices. You stood there, didn't you? You saw them all gathered together fighting for a cause, and you watched from the sidelines and did nothing. Maybe you whispered in your mind about what you could have done, what you should have done, but you didn't. You walked away from it all unscathed, untouched by the battle. Yet somehow, they see you as the one who betrayed them, the one who left them to suffer alone. They hate you because you didn't stay to fight alongside them like everyone else. You weren't one of them. You didn't join their cause, their struggle, their fight. And in their eyes, you've become the enemy. You walked away, didn't you? But who are they to judge you? They don't know what it's like to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, to carry the burden of the choices you made. They don't know the demons you've faced, the battles you fought in your own mind, the sacrifices you made in silence. They don't know the loneliness that comes with walking away from a cause that no longer serves you. They don't know the pressure of having to choose between loyalty and survival, between what's right and what's safe. You didn't stay with them because you knew something they didn't. You knew that there's more to life than just following the crowd, more to survival than just standing in line waiting to die for a cause that never even asked you who you are. You chose to leave because sometimes walking away is the only way to stay alive. Sometimes the hardest choice is the one that saves you from being consumed by the flames of a battle that you never wanted to fight in the first place. But they don't see it that way, do they? They don't understand that you weren't abandoning them. You were saving yourself. They don't understand that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to walk away, to refuse to be a pawn in their game, to refuse to be just another face in the crowd. They hate you because you had the strength to leave when everyone else was too afraid to. They hate you because they think you betrayed them. But in truth, you betrayed nothing but your own fear, your own hesitation, your own need for approval. They hate you because you didn't stay to fight alongside them. Because in their eyes, your absence is a reminder that not everyone follows blindly. Not everyone is willing to sacrifice everything for a cause that may not even be worth fighting for. But what if they are wrong? What if your decision to leave was the right one? What if staying would have only led you further down a path of destruction? What if you saw something in them that they couldn't see in themselves? What if you realized that the battle they were fighting wasn't theirs to win? What if you knew that by staying, you would have been complicit in their downfall, complicit in their failure? What if walking away was the only way to preserve your integrity, your soul, your very being? They hate you because they don't understand you. They hate you because they don't have the courage to make the choices you made. They hate you because you remind them of their own weakness, their own inability to break free from the chains that bind them. They hate you because in your silence and your absence, you became a symbol of something they could never be free from. You became a reminder that they too have choices to make, and they too must one day decide whether to stay and fight or to leave and save themselves. But let's be real for a moment. Do you really think they would have fought for you? Do you really think they would have stood by your side if the roles had been reversed? They are angry because you took a step back and made a choice that was yours to make. But deep down, they know they would have done the same thing. They would have walked away too if they had the courage to do so. They are angry because you remind them of their own inability to choose themselves over the opinions of others. They hate you because you remind them of everything they fear to be true about themselves. The truth is, they hate you not because you left, but because you made a decision that forced them to question everything they believed in everything they thought they knew about themselves. You are a living testament to the fact that sometimes the right decision isn't the popular one, the one everyone expects you to make. They hate you because you stood up for yourself and refused to be a pawn in their game of survival. They hate you because you didn't let their expectations define you. They hate you because you dared to be different, and in doing so, you became a threat to their own sense of comfort. But here's the thing, you have something they don't. You have the strength to make decisions that are true to who you are and who you want to become. You have the power to walk away when everyone else is too afraid to do so. You have the courage to stand alone when everyone else is too weak to stand up for themselves. They hate you because you remind them that they too have the power to make their own choices, but they are too afraid to use it. They hate you because you remind them that they too can break free from the chains that bind them, but they are too scared to try. So let them hate you. Let them talk about you behind your back. Let them say whatever they want, because in the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are free. What matters is that you have the courage to walk away from a battle that was never yours to fight. What matters is that you have the strength to make your own choices and live with the consequences of those choices. They can hate you all they want, but it won't change the fact that you are a force to be reckoned with. You are a warrior in your own right because you fought the hardest battle of all. The battle against your own fears, your own doubts, and your own limitations. So here's the truth they will never understand. You didn't stay to fight alongside them because you knew the fight wasn't yours to fight. You knew that sometimes the best way to win is to walk away, to refuse to be dragged into a battle that has no end, no purpose, no meaning. You didn't stay to fight because you knew that true strength lies in knowing when to walk away, when to preserve yourself, and when to fight for something that truly matters. They hate you because you remind them that they too have that power, but they are too afraid to claim it. So keep walking. Keep making the choices that are right for you, even if it means standing alone, even if it means facing their hatred and their judgment. Keep walking because you know that your journey is yours and yours alone, and no one else can define it for you. Keep walking because you know that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to keep moving forward, even when the world is telling you to stop. Keep walking because you are not defined by their hatred or their judgment. You are defined by your own choices and the courage to stand by them, no matter what. Let them hate you, because in the end, it will be their hatred that fuels your rise. Let them hate you, because in their hatred, you will find the strength to keep moving forward, to keep fighting for your own life, your own future, your own freedom. Let them hate you, because their hatred will only remind you of the power you hold within yourself to rise above it all and become the person you were always meant to be. Let them hate you, because the more they hate, the more you will grow, the more you will evolve, and the more you will realize that their hatred is nothing more than a reflection of their own inability to see their own potential. So let them hate you, because you didn't stay to fight alongside them. Let them hate you because you had the courage to walk away when everyone else stayed behind. Let them hate you because in the end their hatred will never define you. It will only serve to propel you forward into a future that is yours to create. Let them hate you because you are no longer bound by their expectations, their limitations, or their fears. Let them hate you because in the end, it is your freedom that will make you unstoppable. And this is where they will never understand. They will never comprehend the magnitude of what you've achieved because they cannot fathom the weight of the chains you've broken. They are still shackled to the idea of conformity, of following the path that was laid out for them by others. They live their lives in the suffocating grip of expectations, and that is the very reason they hate you. They hate you because you dared to step away from the suffocating grip of their world. You dared to choose yourself over the collective, to reject the idea that your life should be defined by the opinions, the judgments, and the expectations of others. You saw the way they were all fighting blindly in a battle they could never win, clinging to a false hope that somehow they would emerge victorious. You saw the truth that their fight was meaningless, their cause empty, and their loyalty misplaced. They may have thought they were fighting for something greater, but what they were really fighting for was their own validation, their own comfort in numbers. They wanted you to follow, to be a part of their crusade, so that their actions would be justified by your presence. But you refused to be just another pawn in their game. You made the decision to walk away, because deep down, you knew something they didn't. You knew that real strength doesn't come from following the herd. Real strength comes from walking alone when everyone else is too afraid to take the first step. It comes from being willing to be hated, misunderstood, and judged because you chose your own truth over the lies that the world is trying to force on you. That is the essence of freedom. Freedom isn't just the absence of physical chains. It's the courage to reject the narrative others have crafted for you, to carve your own path, no matter how painful, no matter how lonely. It's the understanding that your journey, no matter how unconventional or misunderstood, is yours to live and no one else's to dictate. The freedom you have gained by refusing to conform, by stepping away from the battle they wanted you to fight, is the most powerful force you will ever experience. They see you walking away and they feel threatened because you remind them of what they could never have. The ability to break free from the invisible shackles that bind them to a life that isn't truly theirs. You have shattered the illusion that they cling to so desperately. The illusion that staying with the crowd and following the rules will bring peace, happiness, and purpose. They are terrified of you because you represent the unknown, the possibility that everything they've believed in, everything they've sacrificed for, might be a lie. You remind them that they too have a choice, that they too can break free from their chains. But they don't want that. They don't want the responsibility that comes with true freedom. They want to remain comfortable, to stay in the familiar, even if it means sacrificing their potential and living in the shadow of someone else's dreams. They want to feel justified in their own cowardice, in their own inability to take the risk of walking away. So instead, they will hate you. They will project their insecurities onto you because the truth is too painful for them to face. You are a mirror that reflects everything they fear to confront about themselves. But you have the courage to look at yourself without flinching. You have the bravery to stand tall in the face of their hate, to take each insult, each sneer, each judgment, and turn it into fuel for your fire. Because deep down, you know that their hate doesn't matter. What matters is that you made a choice that was right for you, choice that will propel you forward in ways they cannot even begin to understand. You know that the only person whose approval you need is your own. And in the end, you will be unstoppable not because of their validation, but because of your unwavering commitment to yourself. This is what they cannot fathom. They cannot fathom the power that comes from living authentically, from stepping outside of the world's expectations, from choosing to define your own success, your own worth. They don't understand that by walking away from their battle, you've chosen the greater fight, the fight to claim your life, your future, your sovereignty. You haven't run from a war, you've run toward your own personal evolution. And that, my friend, is what makes you unstoppable. You know that the hardest battles aren't fought on physical fields. The hardest battles are fought in the mind, in the heart. The hardest battles are those where you stand alone, when everyone else is telling you to give up or to fall in line. The hardest battles are the ones where you must confront the deepest fears within yourself, the ones where you face the unknown and walk into it with nothing but your own courage to guide you. You didn't walk away because you were afraid. You walked away because you understood the stakes. You knew that staying in a battle you didn't believe in, fighting for a cause that wasn't yours, would only lead to your destruction. You understood that the real victory lies not in fighting for others' ideals, but in fighting for your own life, your own future, your own peace. They will never understand that. They will never understand that your decision wasn't an act of weakness, but one of supreme strength. It's easy to stay in a battle that everyone else is fighting. It's easy to go along with the crowd, to follow the rules, to conform to the status quo. It's easy to remain in a place where you're told what to think, how to act, and who to be. But true strength comes when you reject the comfort of the known and step into the abyss of the unknown. True strength comes when you are willing to lose everything, including the approval of others, in order to gain everything that truly matters: your own authenticity, your own peace, and your own power. They hate you because they see the truth in you, even if they can't admit it to themselves. They see that you are willing to take the risk of living on your own terms, of being free from the constraints they have allowed to define their existence. They hate you because they know, deep down, that they wish they could be as brave as you, that they wish they could make the choice to walk away from the things that are holding them back. But they can't. Not yet. And that is what makes you unstoppable. You have found your freedom, and with it comes the power to build the life you were always meant to live. You are not bound by anyone else's expectations, not swayed by their judgments, not afraid of their hate. You are walking your own path, and no one can take that away from you. And when you look ahead, you see a future that is yours to create, a future where you are free to be who you truly are and live the life you truly desire. So let them hate you. Let them gossip about you. Let them call you selfish or cowardly. Let them tell you that you're running away from responsibility. It doesn't matter, because in the end, your freedom is worth more than their approval. Your journey is worth more than their expectations. And in the end, it is your freedom that will make you unstoppable. You will rise, not because they love you, but because you love yourself enough to take the hard steps. You will rise, not because they agree with you, but because you refuse to compromise your own truth. You will rise, not because they understand you, but because you understand yourself. And that is the power they will never have. And that is the power that will make you unstoppable. You see, they can hate you all they want. They can point their fingers and accuse you of things you didn't do, or choices you didn't make. But the truth is, their hate only solidifies your strength. They are uncomfortable with your independence because it reminds them of what they lack: the courage to choose for themselves. You didn't walk away from them because you were scared. You walked away because you were strong enough to recognize that the battle they were fighting was not your own. So let them hate you, because the deeper their hate, the brighter your light will shine. The more they try to diminish you, the stronger you will become. You are walking in the fullness of your own truth, and there is nothing more powerful than living authentically. The more they hate, the more it will push you to break through boundaries you didn't even know you had. They will throw every insult at you, every accusation, every whisper in the dark, but none of it will stop you. They cannot touch the essence of who you are, because the essence of who you are is freedom, untouchable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. In a world where everyone is told to conform, where society presses down hard on the shoulders of every individual, you have chosen to be different, and in that difference lies your power. While others remain trapped in the cycle of doing what is expected of them, living lives defined by others' judgments and standards, you have decided to live for yourself. You have rejected the lie that your worth is defined by the approval of others, by the labels they place on you, by the battles they tell you to fight. When you chose freedom, when you chose to leave the battle they demanded you fight, you made a statement to the universe. I am not afraid to be myself, no matter the cost. And that is not a statement everyone is strong enough to make. The majority of people are afraid to stand alone. They are afraid of the consequences, of the whispers, of the hate. They fear the unknown, the uncomfortable space that exists outside of the comfort zones others have built for them. But you've embraced it. You've taken the leap into the unknown, and in doing so, you've tapped into a well of power that most will never experience. This is what they don't understand. They see you walking away, and they assume you're weak, afraid to fight, afraid to stand with them. They assume you're abandoning them, when in reality, you're doing the hardest thing you could ever do. You're choosing yourself. And that is the ultimate form of strength. The hardest thing in the world is to look at a situation, to look at the collective, and to say, this isn't for me. This does not align with my soul. This is not my fight. It's easy to get lost in the noise, to follow the crowd, to do what everyone else is doing. But you chose the harder path, the path that led you to freedom. And that path, the one you've walked alone, is the one that will ultimately make you unstoppable. They can't fathom the weight of that choice. To choose yourself in a world that demands you prioritize everything but yourself is an act of rebellion. It's an act of courage. It's a declaration that you will no longer be held hostage by the expectations and judgments of others. You will no longer stand in a battle that doesn't serve you, that doesn't nurture you, and that doesn't align with the future you want to create. They cannot see this because they are too deep in their own battles to notice your bravery. They are too afraid to walk away from their own battles because doing so would require them to face themselves. And that, my friend, is something they cannot do. But you did. You made the decision to walk away, to preserve your peace, to preserve your power. And in that decision, you found your strength. You didn't need to stay and fight alongside them. You didn't need to sacrifice yourself for a cause that didn't resonate with your soul. You didn't need to prove anything to anyone. You already knew what mattered. You chose to fight for yourself, to build a life that honored who you are, a life that is free from the judgment of others and the confines of societal expectations. That's the thing about true power. It's not something that is given to you. It's not something that others can bestow upon you through praise or approval. True power comes from within, from the quiet understanding that you are enough as you are. It comes from the realization that you are the architect of your own life and that the decisions you make are yours alone. No one can take that away from you. Not their judgment, not their hate, not their rejection. Once you have that inner strength, once you have that understanding of your own worth, there is nothing that can stop you. Nothing can break you. And while they continue to hate you, while they continue to talk about your decisions, one thing will remain undeniable. You are thriving. The strength that comes from freedom will propel you forward, and those who once criticized you will watch as you rise, as you accomplish things they could never imagine, as you continue to walk your own path, unapologetically, without hesitation. They will watch as you continue to build the life you want to live, one that aligns with your own values, your own dreams, your own truth. And deep down, they will know that they could have had that too if they had just chosen to walk away from their battles and chosen their own freedom. But they didn't, and that's why they'll never understand you. What you have now, What they will never be able to take from you is a life that is authentically yours. You are no longer playing by anyone else's rules. You are no longer bound by their fears, their insecurities, their expectations. You've created your own rules. You've crafted a life that is built around your values, your desires, and your sense of purpose. And in that process, you have unlocked a power that is unstoppable. You've chosen to invest in yourself, to honor your own truth, and to pursue your own path. That investment will continue to pay dividends for the rest of your life. It will carry you through the darkest days, through the toughest challenges, and through the moments of doubt that will inevitably arise. Because when you are free, truly free, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you are unshakable. You can face anything, overcome anything, and build anything. And this is the moment when you realize just how unstoppable you truly are. There is nothing they can say, nothing they can do to take that away from you. Their hate, their judgment, their accusations, it's all just noise. Noise that will fade into the background as you continue to rise, to build, and to grow. They will continue to hate. They will continue to try to pull you back into the fight they think you should be in. But none of it will matter, because you are no longer the person they think you are. You are no longer the person they want you to be. You are the person you've always been meant to become, and nothing will stand in your way. So, let them hate you. Let them talk about you. Let them misunderstand your decisions. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have chosen freedom. You have chosen to stand tall in the face of their hatred and to walk your own path. And as you continue on that path, you'll find that the very thing they feared most about you, the thing they hated the most, is the thing that will carry you to heights they will never reach. Your freedom is your power, and that power is what will make you unstoppable. In the end, they can hate you, misunderstand you, and criticize your choices, but none of it will matter. What matters is that you chose freedom. You chose to live authentically, to follow your own path, and to honor your truth above all else. That freedom, that strength, is what will make you unstoppable. Their hate only serves to fuel your rise as you continue to build a life that is entirely your own. Keep walking in your power, for you are unshakable, and nothing can stop you now.